Brenna, the CEO and founder of The Mortgage Shop. So I'm having a lot of you come to me and say, I don't know whether to do a cash out refinance or home equity line of credit. And just because I'm a nerd, I like to look at numbers. And this may be a reason for you to actually do a cash out refinance, even with this high interest rate environment, versus a home equity line of credit. Because you have to keep in mind that a cash out refinance is a 30-year amortized loan. It is fixed. Your interest rate won't change. And also, your payment may not be as much more as you think. Home equity lines of credit, remember, they do have a much higher interest rate, and they can even go up because they are adjustable in that rate. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to show you a scenario, something I've put together. So I'm going to show you for a primary residence. Let's say you owe $300,000, and we're going to talk about fully cash out refinancing this whole loan that you have on it, even though you have a lower interest rate. It's worth $600,000. Your initial loan was $450,000. So your interest rate on it, let's say, was 3.5%, which is nice. Your principal and interest would then be $2,020.70 per month. Now let's look at if you wanted to cash that out. Remember, it is worth $600,000. So 75% loan to value would be $450,000. Your new interest rate is cringeworthy at 7.625%. Just bear with me though. So your principal and interest now would be $3,185.07 as opposed to the $2,020.70. The difference in payment would be an extra $1,164.37 per month. All right, hold that thought, and now we're going to go to the investment property that you're looking at. Let's say you had enough equity in your property, you rolled in those closing costs, and the cash out you got at closing was $150,000. We're going to do a beach house in the area that I own a beach house in, just so you can kind of compare numbers. I own a beach house in Cape San Blas, Port St. Joe area. So let's do a purchase price of $700,000, investment 15% down. So your down payment would be $105,000. The interest rate is going to stay the same for this loan as your cash out refinance. However, your closing costs will be a little higher. So closing costs, let's say around 3%, would be $17,850. Your interest rate, again, 7.625%. So your new payment on this new property would be $4,211.37. The money left over after you put your down payment and closing costs down is $27,150. So a lot of these properties, if they're newer, you probably don't have to do many renovations or rehabs. You may want to put that money towards maybe new furniture if it's old, or replacing, silverware, utensils, plates, all that fun stuff in the kitchen. Whatever you want to do, if you want to use all of it, or you can save it if you don't need it. I'm going conservative and I'm putting $80,000 in proposed yearly revenue. I'm doing exactly the same as my beach house, which is a 3-bed, 2-bath. My beach house did more than $80,000. However, I'm just doing a more conservative approach. This beach house is like right there at the beach, so keep that in mind. So 80,000 divided by 12 is 6,666.67. Minus your new principal and interest of $4,211.37, you would get $2,455.30. I know you may have to rewind this to go over all the numbers I'm going over. I'm just subtracting your new principal and interest for this new property from what your gross revenue would be. Then I'm going to subtract that extra $1,164.37 you added on to your mortgage for your primary residence to get this cash out. And so your cash for extra cash per month would be $1,290.93. Now you do have to keep in mind your taxes and insurance aren't included in the scenario. I'm just doing principal and interest. So you would subtract that out of $1,290.93. Then you would have your cleaning fees, taxes, things like that. So keep that in mind. So you would have to kind of basically essentially do this, or we would do this with you for you to see if this number is worth it for you. For me, probably so, because $1,164.37 to me isn't that much more of a payment per month. I can handle it with my debt to income ratio. That's another thing you have to consider. Are you strapped for cash, or are you pretty comfortable with handling that extra payment? I'm going to do this because I know that property will appreciate in value, because that area is continuously up and coming. Year over year gets better numbers. So I would take this deal over that home equity line of credit. One home equity line of credit right now can be anywhere from 10 to 12%, 12.5% starting out. And I'm not sure where that interest rate is going to go with that home equity line of credit since it's an adjustable rate mortgage. So I may just bite the bullet, do the whole refinance and forget about it. However, if you were going to invest multiple times, maybe you do want that home equity line of credit to be able to pull, pay, pull. But if you're just looking at one investment property right now, maybe you're getting your feet wet, maybe it's a second home, then your cash flow would be even more because you'd be putting less down than 15%. Then this would possibly be for you. I'm just going over what it would look like if you did the full cash out refinance. I hope this has kind of helped you guys debunk these myths between, oh, you shouldn't do a full cash out refinance on that mortgage if you have a lower interest rate. Let's work the scenario for you, your personal scenario, just like I did in this example, to see if it's worth it for you. Remember, whatever area you are looking in for your property will differ by cash flow per year, gross revenue per year, I should say. So keep that in mind. And also your taxes and insurance and HOA fees, if applicable, will be different in certain areas that you look in. So it's all specific to you. If this has helped you and you want to learn more about your personal deal, like and subscribe below, and I'll talk to you guys soon.